Imagine if you could spend 30 minutes or so with a business leader or inspirational figure who has forged a great career path for themselves and who is prepared to share their experiences and advice with you in order to support your personal and professional development. My name is Ian Cleverdon, and now you can do this thanks to my brand new audio podcast series, Half Hour Mentor. The first series will feature interviews with 10 people from different walks of life and career backgrounds, each being open and honest about their careers. They will share their thoughts on what careers they wanted to pursue at an early age, how they progressed and dealt with the challenges they faced along the way, and what advice they would give their younger self knowing what they know now. As a little taster of what to expect, here are some brief extracts from 3 of the interviews. First up, Andy Burnham. Whilst talking about his rise from his first graduate job as a journalist to his current role of Metro Mayor of Greater Manchester, we touched on imposter syndrome and how it affects us all. Imposter syndrome that a lot of people go through, it sounds awful as a phrase, but virtually everybody goes through it. Think, am I worthy of doing this particular role?
Definitely, and I'd say to anyone who's listening to this, who feels a bit of that, recognise it. You'll still feel it. Nothing I can say will take it away. So you'll still feel it, and you'll go into a kind of university setting or into a work setting, and you'll immediately feel that you have kind of been let in by mistake, or that you're going to get found out, and that absolutely was a feeling I had all the time. What I would say is recognise the feeling, and just take it steady and hold yourself there. Get used to that environment, and then you'll start to feel different and change, and you'll start to kind of own it. I remember, I always say this, but I was at Cambridge and I kind of arrived and just was totally disorientated in my first year. I couldn't and didn't think I was going to stay there. I thought I would not be able to last the course. And, as I've always said, I came up against people who just looked more confident and more impressive than anyone I'd ever come across, in my life. And it took me probably until the end of my second year to work out, though they sounded amazing, they were talking complete rubbish. And then when I realised that, I then thought, right, well, I can do better than that. But it's definitely something I would, and I think it's not just a sort of, let's say, a working class thing. I think it affects everybody really to some degree or other. And I would say just recognise it and work with it and work around it, and you'll overcome it.
Here's Helen Tonks, an award-winning business mentor and CEO of Inspires Me Consulting Limited, sharing with us what advice she would give her teenage self, knowing what she knows now.
Never be afraid to be yourself. Don't try and bluff or be anyone else. Just be your authentic self. That comes from a place of having hidden in the background of my first business for 9 years, because I thought if people realised that I was this non-technical woman in a very technical industry, very male-dominated industry, and I happened to be married to my business partner, I just didn't think that people would take me seriously. And I've actually proven, and I've now realised that being in that position is my sort of superpower. There's a quote that I love: comparison is the thief of joy. And linked on from that, it's the idea of compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to somebody else is today. So always be striving, always be looking to improve, throw yourself in the deep end, grab those opportunities, but treat yourself kindly as well. And don't measure your success by somebody else's benchmark and achievements.
Last but not least, here's Tim Williams, Chief Executive of Oxford United Football Club and visiting Professor of Manchester Metropolitan University Business School, reflecting on when might be the right time to consider a change in career or employer.
If you're having a really bad day, or even a really bad week, that's the last time to pick up the phone to a recruitment consultant. And I mean that with the greatest respect to the recruitment industry, but if you're just struggling, talk to friends, your loved ones, family, whoever, a mentor, somebody, and say, I'm struggling. No strong business and no strong business leader wants their people to struggle. And if they see that happening and know about it, then there's something that can be done. And it may be that thing is moving on, but it may be that there's an alternative. So I've learned to slow down. I've learned to not be impatient and not sulk when things are going bad, because life does that to you. Not everything goes swimmingly well. You're going to have some rotten times, and it's thinking a bit more long term.
Each interview is designed to last 30 minutes or so, ideal for listening to on that commute into work, lunchtime walk, or whenever you have half an hour to spare. Whilst the series is predominantly aimed to support the personal and professional development of 16 to 30-year-olds, it's suitable for anyone who wishes to gain some inspiration from experienced leaders, mentors and coaches. My thanks go to Manchester Metropolitan University Business School, who has sponsored the first series. A link to their courses and offerings can be found in the show notes to this podcast. The first episode is due out on Thursday the 6th of October and will be available on all major streaming platforms. Please subscribe to the series wherever you get your pods from so that you will be notified of new episodes as they are released. You can also follow the series and provide feedback on each episode via Instagram, Twitter, Facebook and YouTube by searching for Half Hour Mentor. You can also find out more about the series via the website halfhourmentor.com. Links to all of these can be found in the show notes. I do hope that you can join me and my guests for what will be an enlightening journey of personal development.